A very, very warm welcome to yet another Kumekucha video. Information and analysis that is very difficult to find anywhere else. I recommend that you subscribe and you hit the bell button so that you receive notifications every time I have a new video. Karibu sana and enjoy. We are still very early in the year 2019, and the truth is things are tough, very tough for most Kenyans, and indeed for many people all over the world. However, it is also true to say there are plenty of opportunities all around us. Now I'm going to repeat something that I've said often on this channel, and I know most of you will not believe, but I will say it anyway. Any person with experience in business, with experience in making money, will tell you that problems are equals to opportunities. Therefore, the more the problems, the more the opportunities. And since in Kenya right now, we are facing so many problems, maybe an unprecedented number of problems, it also means that we live in a time when there are unprecedented opportunities to make money, to go into business for yourself. Now, I'm well aware of the fact that that is very difficult to swallow, very difficult to believe, especially if you're going through a tough time. I know because I've been there myself. However, that does not change the truth. How you feel right now does not change the truth. And so my recommendation is, especially if you're going through a very tough time right now, is for you to pick up yourself, face the truth, and use the truth to change your circumstances forever. Now in this video, I want to focus on one of the biggest, most nagging problems people in Kenya face when it comes to starting a money-making opportunity, starting a business. And that is something called capital, seed money, if you like. I've often heard people say, and I still hear them saying, that there is no way you can start a business without capital. Others say there are certain kinds of businesses there is no way you can start without capital. Both those statements are false, and I'm going to prove to you in a minute why they're false. Not true at all. But the vast majority of people believe that those statements are absolutely true. And unfortunately, what makes those statements even more believable are people who have gone to school, and done something like financing or accounting. Those experts, will come and tell you there is no way. Forget what Chris Kumekucha is telling you. There is no way you can start a business without capital. Period. Okay, let me give you a few examples. And I will focus on examples of companies you've heard of, businesses that you have definitely heard of. Google, the giant search engine, started without a single cent in capital. And it was worse for them. They also started having absolutely no idea how they were going to make money from their great idea. The idea was a very simple idea. Organize the internet, organize the web, so that it is easy for people to find information they're looking for. Because before Google came along, getting information was a headache. But the idea was very good. They were offering something that was badly needed by the market all over the world. And so they soldiered on, until they attracted the interest of a venture capitalist. Somebody who wanted to invest in the business. And even more amazingly, when that person was ready to invest in the business, these people had no bank account. So they received a check, before having an actual bank account. Wow. Today, of course, Google is a multi-billion-dollar company. Apple was started in a garage. The founder, one of the founders, Steve Jobs, started the company in the garage of his parents' house. without capital. Now Apple today is a huge company. DHL, the courier company, started without capital. You can go and do your own research online, to prove what I'm telling you. Read the stories of these companies. I'm trying to move quickly. Now, the most interesting example I can give is the last one I want to give you from outside Kenya. Ford, the vehicle manufacturer. And this is for those people who believe that there are certain kinds of business very capital intensive. They require huge amounts of money to start that can never be started without any capital. Well, Henry Ford, the founder of the Ford Motor Company, hated banks and financiers, and his belief was that a business should be financed by the customers. So if your idea is good, you get the idea into the market. When people buy, they give you money. You put it into the business, and you grow gradually from that. Bottom line, when you want to start a business, forget about capital. Start the business. If it's a good idea, the customers will finance it. If it is not a good idea, well, no customers, so no finances for it. Period. Now, if it was Chris Kumekucha saying this, or somebody off the streets, you could brush it off. But this is Henry Ford speaking, the late Henry Ford. Somebody who did it practically. He started the Ford Motor Company, which we can still see today. So you have to take him seriously. Now let's come back right here in Kenya. And I'm going to tell you two stories of people I actually know. One person entered the real estate business. Oh, you need a lot of capital for that, don't you? How do you enter the real estate business? Putting up buildings, and selling them or renting them without a single cent in capital. Impossible, you would say. You need a title deed, you take it to a bank, the bank proves that you can actually repay their loan, then they give you the money and you start a real estate business. Well, this example I'm going to give you did not do that. And with good reason. They had no title deed, they had no land, they had no money, they had nothing, except a brain. And the determination, that's all you need. In fact, that is much more important than capital. Because you try and give a lot of money to somebody who's not determined and somebody who doesn't want to think, and you'll see what will happen to that money. It will disappear so fast, you won't believe. So this is what this person did. There was somebody who lived near them who had a problem. They were trying to sell off a piece of land, and they were trying to sell it very urgently because they needed cash, a lot of cash to do something, an emergency of sorts. To cut a very long story short, this person, without any money of their own, subdivided that land, and earned a very huge, handsome commission from selling it. Instead of selling the 10 acres to one person, he subdivided it, I believe, to 50 plots or something like that, and sold those individually. And the sum of money he ended up with was much higher, much more than what the owner of the land was asking for. Okay? So he ended up with a very, very huge, handsome commission. And there were 3 or 4 plots which were unsold, which now became his. And he used his commission to put up buildings, to put up actually houses on those pieces of plots. And that's how he started his real estate business without a single cent in capital. Now, in my book, 101 Brilliant Business Ideas That Will Thrive in Kenya, I have listed another brilliant and even much more simpler way of getting into the real estate business without a single cent in capital. I shall talk about that book at the tail end of this video. The second example I want to give you for now is also of yet another business that requires a lot of capital to start. A supermarket. Now, this man came from a very poverty-stricken background. His parents were poor, all his relatives were poor, and he was poor himself. And because he came from this kind of background, he didn't go very far in school. There was no school fees. So when he grew up, he knew he had no choice but to find a way to make money with his limited education. There was no way he was going to find a good job. Yeah, in fact, there was no way he was even going to find a job as a cleaner. Because as a cleaner, the first thing they ask you for is your Form 4 certificate. He didn't have that. He had not reached Form 4. But despite his problems and his background, he was a very happy guy. Yeah, he liked talking to people, and people liked him. Yeah, because he was not gloomy. In fact, he was never gloomy. He was always very happy and enthusiastic about life. And so that made him the perfect salesman. So he started off being a salesman for various companies. And these companies did not employ him. Yeah, what he did, he just sold and he was paid on commission. And since he was badly in need of money, yeah, he needed to support his poor parents, he needed to support his siblings. They were all looking up to him. So he needed to make a lot of money very fast. And so he decided, yeah, after his stint in sales, he decided that he was going to focus on selling fast-moving products. The commission for these products was small, but you could sell a lot of them very quickly and make a lot of commissions very quickly. And he didn't mind the hard work, yeah, because he had to do a lot of walking, running around, selling to small shops, dukas, kiosks, and supermarkets. The other advantage he realized he had, yeah, this guy really had brains for making money, was the fact that although the commissions were small, once you got one customer, they were bound to be repeat customers. Yeah, like you have a small duka, small shop, where you're supplying some fast-moving consumer product. You'll sell to them today. In 3 or 4 days, they have sold out. You need to sell again to them, and so on and so forth. And any expert in sales will tell you it's easier to sell to an existing customer than to find a new one. And so from nothing, he built up his income very quickly. And then he noticed that he was losing money from supermarkets. He was rapidly losing his supermarket customers. Why? Because the supermarket customers were directly buying from the factories and the wholesalers, in short, the people he dealt with. So supermarkets were jumping him and going directly to where he was getting his supplies. And the reason was because they were getting credit. Because they were placing large orders, they were being given 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, even 90 days credit. And of course, he was selling cash. And this is what gave him the idea of launching a small supermarket. Because he knew all these factories, he dealt with them every day. He knew all these wholesalers, he dealt with them every day. They knew him very well. Therefore, getting credit from them was no problem for him. So all he had to do was to rent a building. So he started off with a very small building. He took all these products on credit, stocked them, yeah, and started selling them off. And meanwhile, he continued supplying his old customers, small dukas, small shops all over Nairobi. And within a very short period of time, he had more than one supermarket. And these supermarkets were situated in buildings or in space that was much larger than what he started with. And before long, he had branches outside Nairobi, all over the country. And he started his supermarket chain without a single cent in capital. No bank loans. No rich relatives to finance him. All his relatives were poor. Folks, those are practical, real-life examples. They're not from a book. They're not fairy tales. Those are things that actually happened. So, if you're sitting there feeling sorry for yourself, believing that there's absolutely no way you can start a business until you get some large amount of money, then you need to know that all you're doing is offering excuses. Excuses that do not make any sense. What you need to do is to get up and start doing something today. Not tomorrow, today. And I have something that can really help you. Yeah, because I realize that not all of us can have these brilliant ideas of how to launch our businesses with limited or no finances. I have this amazing book based on research, yeah, in Kenya and beyond, especially in East Africa. And it is titled 101 Brilliant Business Ideas That Will Thrive. Now, it is an ebook. Yeah, that means you can get it in seconds. Yeah, right inside your email inbox. In PDF format, which is very easy, yeah, to read online, just like a book. Or you can even print it out and it'll come out exactly like a book. And you can keep on referring to it and building up your future. Now, the price for this book, yeah, which has been selling very well, is 2,500 Kenya shillings, yeah, or $25. But I have an amazing January offer, yeah, in January, not January. Kenyans will know exactly what I mean. And with this offer, you can get these ebooks, yeah, right away for next to nothing. I kid you not. All you have to do is go to our Patreon account, yeah, Kumekucha stroke Patreon. Yeah, you can see it on your screens right now. And when you get there, all you need to do is make a contribution of $5, $5 only. That's equivalent of only 500 shillings. And then send an email to the email address you see below. For quicker service, because I'll get your email address immediately at the Patreon account, but for quicker service, send me an email on that email address you see below. And we will send you this amazing ebook right away. And you'll have in your hands 101, in fact slightly over 101 very brilliant ways, yeah, you can make money. You can start a business without any capital or with very limited finances. And the book even gives you ways and methods, tried and tested, of how to sell and market your ideas. Step by step, how you can start. You don't need any previous experience. You don't need to be an expert. Just select, choose one idea, and you're good to go. Do this right away. Don't postpone your success. Don't postpone starting to change your life today. Others have done it. Why not you? Let 2019 be the year you change your life forever. And even if you're employed, there's nothing stopping you from starting a business on the side. There are many brilliant part-time ideas, yeah, things you can do in your spare time. You even get tips on how to create that spare time, assuming that you're already very busy, employed somewhere else right now. Don't postpone. Do it now. Now, alternatively, you can also use a pay bill number. Yeah, you can see the pay bill number on your screens right now. And the instructions on what to do, like the account number to use. And then make sure immediately after you made your payment, you send me an email to the email address you see on your screens right now. If you use this method, you must send me your email address because I'll have no way of knowing where to send the ebook. And of course in the email, give me the payment details, like the number you have used to send the payment. And that's it, only $5. I wish you all, everybody who is listening to this video, a very prosperous 2019. And let it start now. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.